To discuss the current state of the hiring market and how job seekers can approach their search in 2024 is Rob Hosking, career and workplace expert for talent solutions firm Robert Half. Thank you so much for joining us today. So our company's hiring, and is now a good time to look for a new full-time role or even a contract position?
Yes, and I've been doing this for almost 3 decades, and I'm very optimistic about the hiring outlook in 2024. It's supported by 3 things. Our State of the U.S. hiring report shows that almost 60% of companies plan to add new full-time jobs and 39% for vacated jobs where somebody may have left, which is really exciting news if you're looking for a new role. On the contract side of things, almost 70% of the respondents plan to hire more contract workers. And companies who paused projects in 2023 are resuming those projects. So it's happening already and will continue in the new year as well. Proof of all of this is in the full report at roberthalf.com.
Job market is looking fairly good, right? I can dig it. So what is your best piece of advice for job seekers heading into 2024?
So for job seekers, I'd recommend sticking with the 3 T's. First is take inventory. I talk to workers every day and I ask them, are you happy? What would make you happy? And is now the right time for you to make a move? And I'd encourage everyone to ask themselves those questions. Secondly, tap your network. So reach out to your personal and professional contacts to really better understand what's happening in your local market, who's hiring and what's going on, and then turn to a staffing firm. They know the market better than anyone, and they can really help get what you want, whether that be increase in salary or better culture or flexible work.
That's interesting. Okay, so how are job seekers using Gen AI, and is it even appropriate?
Our research shows that people already are, and most frequently we're seeing in cover letters and resumes, but nothing beats the human touch, and AI is truly only a tool. So put your resume through AI, see the optimized results, but make sure to review carefully and edit those results to ensure accuracy. It's also important that you customize your cover letter and your resume for each opportunity. I would say that there's one area that AI can't assist, and that's with company culture. So job seekers should always try to be genuine, showcase their personalities and who they really are, and show how they can fit into company culture and values.
Yeah, company culture, it seems like over the last 10 years has become much more important for employees, right? As opposed to just making the money. I want to work somewhere that I actually feel confident about or I feel comfortable with, and they're on the same moral, I guess, compass as I am, so to speak, right? That seems very, very important nowadays. So what are some tips for workers feeling burnt out or disengaged at work? Should they find a new job?
I think there's a lot of people that are feeling burnt out right now, and this is for a number of reasons. Increased workloads. Companies are doing a lot more with less, and longer hours, particularly this time of the year as we head into the end of the year, or simply a lot of people that just aren't taking enough of the time they need to unplug and really get away. So if you're feeling burnt out, you're definitely not alone. But before jumping ship, I would really recommend asking yourself, have I taken the time to reassess? Why am I feeling this way? And is it possible to get back on track in my current job? And this is a great time of the year to relax and reflect and to recharge if you can, and make those decisions. Is now the right time to make this career move?
Excellent, Rob.
But if you're still feeling like it's time to make...
No, keep going. I'm sorry, Rob, I cut you off. Go ahead. Continue.
Yeah, no problem. I was going to say, if you really do feel it is time to make the move, then there are close to 10 million job openings right now, and companies are expecting to bring more people on into the new year.
Excellent. Wow, that's a lot. Okay, so before I let you go, Rob, where can viewers go to learn more about job openings, salaries, or more?
They can visit roberthalf.com for all the latest hiring and salary trends, and or reach out to one of our experts to help land their next dream job.
Perfect. Thank you so very much for your time this morning, Rob. I really appreciate it. It's very, very informative. And guys, you can head over to our FCN Plus app to catch this segment again.
Joining us now with details about retailer challenges and how law enforcement technology could be used to help mitigate workplace violence and keep employees safe is Vice President and General Manager of Enterprise at Axon, Mike Shore. And we also have Chris Hamlin, Vice President of Asset Protection for Retail Industry Leaders Association. Thank you both so much for joining me today. This is so interesting. So what are some recent statistics on retail theft in the U.S.?
Yeah, before we get into those statistics, when you think about retail theft in the United States, it really prongs from two major issues. The first issue is that criminal offenders look at these criminal actions or these criminal behaviors as a low risk, high reward type of environment. And then second to that, we got conditioned coming out of the pandemic to shopping online as your average consumer. Well, these criminal actors, they're leveraging that e-commerce platform to be able to sell counterfeit and stolen goods, which is uptick or caused an uptick in smash and grab, violent offenses, habitual theft offenses to the retail industry.
Yeah, I do feel like we've seen a lot of that in the news recently. So tell us about the survey Axon recently conducted. What were some of the key takeaways?
Sure. Yeah. To better understand really the true nature of the challenges and what we all hear about and maybe feel, we conducted a survey to 1,200 associates on the front lines of retail. There's 21 million retail associates in the U.S. So really aim to get a better understanding of what they're seeing and hearing. Unfortunately, what we got back was quite disturbing. 2/3 of retail associates have experienced theft. About half of them have experienced workplace violence, and it was pretty clear, they no longer feel safe at work, and that's something that we've got to address.
Yeah, it's a little scary. So what do security professionals recommend doing then to combat retail crime?
That's a great question. You think traditionally security professionals, they have leveraged security tagging devices. They've used or increased their amount of manpower within the retail setting itself. But now those security professionals are looking at multi-pronged approaches at addressing these offenses across the retail industry. They're leveraging collaboration. They're leveraging technology. They're leveraging many different aspects to be able to bring full circle the connection together. And at RELA, we started a Violent Communities Initiative back in the summer. And this initiative is geared towards going after those habitual offenders, looking at ways to end recidivism, looking at ways to address or deal with those individuals that are unhoused or self-administering drugs within the retail space. Leveraging diversion programs to take in those lower level offenses or those individuals that need social services intervention into those aspects, and then really going after those habitual offenders and prosecuting them to the level to slow down this activity from continuing to happen across the retail industry.
Well, let's talk about then the technology that law enforcement uses to de-escalate violence, and can that be applied to retail?
Yeah, and that's where Axon comes into the picture. When Chris talks about public and private collaboration, a little bit on Axon, we've been in the business for 30 years of providing technologies to public safety. Really got our start with our namesake product, the electrical weapon known as the TASER. The evolution of the company was we put cameras on the bottoms of those weapons to understand what was occurring. That got us into the world of body cameras, powered by our software, evidence.com. Today, every single major city in the U.S. is using evidence.com. And really post-COVID, we started to get reach outs from retailers seeing some of the challenges that we have been solving for decades now around frontline workplace violence and or he said, she said. And we started to deploy some of these technologies, starting with security and then really moving into call it body-worn cameras and software onto frontline associates, as well as asset protection managers, loss prevention leaders. And what we found is there's really three core areas where this technology is assisting them. On the front end, deterring and de-escalating threats. Simply put, when a store is better equipped with this type of technology, they're a less attractive target. During an incident, being able to live stream so you can send the appropriate response, whether that's security, possibly a social services worker, or whatever it may be. And then on the back end, really packaging and investigating the case with all of the digital evidence and doing that efficiently for the retailers and bringing them to where law enforcement is working for the incident to adjudication workflow through law enforcement and district attorneys. We're finding a really good benefit and positive outcomes for retailers by using these tools.
Yeah, it's so fascinating. Well, I'm glad something is being done about this to help slow this down and hopefully combat it altogether. But where can we go for more information on everything?
Absolutely. For more information about RELA or about the Vibrant Communities Initiative, you can go to rila.org/AP. And I urge you to take a look at that and learn about Vibrant Communities and what it can do within your communities.
And for Axon, you can go to axon.com/retail, and you'll find all of our comprehensive resources there specifically designed for retailers.